like to take just a few minutes and update you on some things that have been happening from my perspective. We, first of all, want to welcome everyone from the members to administration and certainly all the delegates, and thank you for coming and spending your time with us today. We had another workshop on July 5th, and in that workshop we kind of concluded discussing what topics that we thought the DDA should address for future sessions. The next step, whereas I will summarize those topics into a list, and everybody will receive a copy of that list, and I want all of the delegates to please rank those topics in the order in which you feel have the highest priority. Once you've done that, and when you return it to me, and you need to return it fairly quickly because the next delegate workshop's coming up on the 5th of August, we will have a summary that says this is what the group feels are the highest priorities in those items, and then in the workshop we will take them one by one and work down the list, working through what issues it might take to implement those ideas or discarding them if we feel they're non-workable. And once we've done that, we will craft formal motions and bring it back here for the Assembly for final debate, and then either passage or rejection. I want to take a minute and talk about progress. A number of people have expressed concern that we're not doing something fast enough, meaning as an assembly, as a group. And admittedly, we've not passed lots of motions in the last couple of months, but we are working on a process that we hope will lead to successful outcome. And I think we need to all understand that success is not a goal, it's a byproduct. It's a byproduct of being able to put together a cohesive plan in which you kind of plan your work and then go out and make those things happen. So when you look at has any progress been done, I would say that actually we have had a lot of progress, just hasn't materialized in something that moves to the master board or larger issues within the community. One of the things that we did establish was we had the Delegate Affairs Committee established, and that's a standing committee, which we talked about last time. Linda Spalding will serve as chair for that committee, and she is with, well, I'll let her tell you who's on her committee.
Who's on my committee? It's so difficult. On my committee is Michelle Walter, thank you very much. Anita Lawrence, thank you very much. And Mike Volz.
Thank you, Linda. Linda will give us a report at all future DDA sessions on what their progress is, and they're working on basically creating codes of ethics. They're going to come up with rules on how we handle any violations of those ethics as a group and other issues that require rules for the delegate assembly. The next committee it's an update really to the ad hoc committees. After discussion and consideration, I think it's best that we actually take the Standing Rules Committee and combine it into put the candidate forum within the Standing Rules Committee, because basically we have a group to work on it and they're willing to work on it, and it kind of falls under the same purview, and we'll call that new committee the Rules Committee. The Rules Committee will also work on updating the delegate handbook, which has been a much requested item, mostly because we have 8 new members and they'd really like to figure out if they're doing it right. And I will say again, it's your district, you can do it any way you want, but I know having some instruction and some help from the way it's been done in the past is a helpful thing. So they will be working on putting together an updated handbook for everyone. And I think it's more important that it gets done right than it gets done quickly. So they're going to have an agenda. They'll have a workshop to work on these things, and they will start putting things together. But we want to make sure it gets done right. And the last thing I want to talk about. Oh yes, I'm sorry. Gail Billick is going to chair that. And then, she does. How would you know that? Gail's committee includes Marcia Midget and Patty Lopez and B. Mercado. Yeah. Thank you, B. I just wanted to talk about momentarily some things that have been brought up about divisions within the delegate assembly or even in the greater community as a whole. And there's been much expressed that we need to heal the division, and the question is easily spoken, but it's much more difficult to actually enact. All visions for a brighter future are grounded in a sense of community and togetherness. And healing division is the most complicated, but the first and most necessary step to make those things happen. The thing about it is that it isn't something that you can prescribe or you can pull out of a book. It actually mostly comes from a personal decision based upon one individual's desire to put the past behind and start again. You have to be able to lay down old grievances. You have to be able to lay down whatever you think injustices may have happened in the past, because re-examining the past really does not move us forward in any way, and we're here to move forward. We're here to work on things that are productive for the community, and the only way we do that is if we're a group. We have no individual power. We have no individual budget. We don't have anything within the CC&RS bylaws that give us these things. The only power we have is coming together as a group to express what we think is best for the community and then giving it back to the community. And that's our true power. And the best way to do that as a group is just say, let's just start over again and see if we can do better next time. And that's all I'm going to say about that at this moment in time. So the next delegate assembly meeting is going to be August 1st, right here in the ballroom at 2 p.m. And the next workshop will be on the 5th. That's a Friday, I believe, or is it a Monday? It's a Monday, August 5th at 3 p.m. in the North Clubhouse. And I hope to see all of you there. We will start open debate again on that workshop on the first priority that everybody has decided that we should work on. And we will now move on to our guest speakers. That's item 3 on the agenda. And first is Michelle Walter, and she's got 2 sections because she's...
Excuse me. Order?
What about the minutes?
What about the minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're absolutely correct. I missed number 1. My mistake. Okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I move we approve the minutes of June 13th.
Linda Vieira has made a motion to approve the minutes from June 13th as written. And Marcia Midget has given a second. Could we have a show of hands, all in favor? And I believe that it passes in unanimous vote. Thank you, Greg, for catching that. I should read better. Michelle Walter's a very busy gal. She's got 2 sections here, and she's going to tell us about community awareness and welcome home. Thank you.
Good afternoon, delegates. Michelle Walter, coordinator for the Community Awareness Program. Our next presentation is on August 6th. This will be a health and wellness expo presented by our Supervisor Gutierrez's office. There will be around 20 vendors: IHEP, Riverside University Health System, Office of Aging, Care Team, Family Services, In-Home Services, and several other vendors. Supervisor Gutierrez is really excited about coming here and presenting these to us. I'm hoping that we're going to have a great turnout for him. I know his flyer will be in your next newsletter, and this is it. This is a smaller version. But let's try and get the word out so our residents know about this. Something that was brought to my attention. I would like to remind all the delegates and residents to please have your file of life on your refrigerator completely filled out and updated. We will be having our drill in October. I have noticed that some residents have their yellow cards up all the time. That card is to let your zone captains know that you are okay and don't need any help during an emergency. If you leave it up all the time and something happens, they will not know to check on you. The fire department and AMR know to look on your refrigerator for the file of life if you're not able to give them information. I can't stress enough to make sure it is updated with all current information. It may save your life. I am asking if the delegates can put something in their next newsletters regarding the file of life and the yellow card. I have continually put this in my articles regarding speeders. It's so easy to do a California stop and not look before proceeding. I am pleading with everyone to please stop at all stop signs. Make sure you look both ways. You don't know if another motorist is going to go through that stop sign. You can't be that much of a hurry if most of us are retired and don't need to be anywhere that quickly. We want to have our community safe and informed. If anyone is interested in being part of the Community Awareness Program, or if you have any ideas for future presentations, please feel free to contact me. Any questions? Go ahead. Okay, good afternoon, delegates. Michelle Walter, Chair for the Welcome Home and Marketing Committee. Our next Welcome Home is on Thursday, July 25th at 5 o'clock. We will still have the same setup as we had last time, but I'm going to put some chairs around so that your residents can sit down during, I think, Jean, you had asked about that. So yes, we're going to do that. This arrangement seems to be working out good. I'm working on the menu right now. However, if you have any vegetarians, please let me know so that we can accommodate them. Please make sure you invite your new residents. Several people have called me and said they have never been invited. Even if they've moved in during COVID, they are still eligible to attend. Dang, why? Don't time me on this. Yeah. If you can confirm a few days before they are attending, that would be great. If for some reason you don't feel comfortable in contacting your residents, I will be more than happy to call them for you. Just give me their names and numbers and I will contact them for you. The marketing committee came up with an invitation for you to use for your new residents. Please see the handout. However, if there is something you would like to see on it, email me with your suggestions and we will correct it for the next Welcome Home. I will make the revisions and email it out all to you. So the cards are going to be like a regular little invitation. It's not going to be a big old piece of paper. It'll be a regular invitation with an envelope that you can hand out or you can mail to your residents. The following are the stats on the home sales so far. Active or coming soon on July 9th, 39 homes, 2 condos. Home prices from $249 to $585. Condo prices from $305 to $385. In escrow, 12 homes and 6 condos. Condo prices from $295 to $345. Home prices from $345 to $569. Closed escrows in June, 10 homes, prices from $360 to $535. 3 condos, prices from $302,500 to $345. 4 homes have closed in escrow so far in July. 3 homes closed after the 17th when the replacement was recorded. So that's $2,190 times 300, which is $6,570 that goes into our replenishment fund. The survey cards that the new owners are filling out for May and June, we received 19, and out of those, dang fly, 3 residents are still working. 5 were interested in golf, and 9 said it was important to have a restaurant on site. Any questions? Good, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, we will move to Corey Lee Gardner, who is the president of the Sun Lakes Travelers Club. This is a new group here at Sun Lakes, just newly formed, and she is here to tell you about what they do and what they offer for residents. Corey?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak briefly about our new club. We were just approved in May, but we have been meeting informally since January. So we have about 60 members, most of them very seasoned, experienced travelers. It's a nice, friendly, informal group. And we invite interested Sun Lakes travelers to join us from 10 a.m. to 12 noon every second Saturday of each month in the main clubhouse multipurpose room. And what we do is I invite guest speakers from the travel industry. Usually it's 1 speaker, sometimes it's 2. For our 2-hour session to talk about travel-related topics. And we also sort of share information, good, bad, and ugly, about travel experiences that we've had. It really helps if you've had a really good experience, and it really helps if you have had a really bad experience with, say, a tour operator or a cruise line, and share that with other travelers. We also use it as a friendly, informal, social gathering for people, like-minded people. We all have a passion and an interest for traveling. I would say that there's approximately 80% of our population here in Sun Lakes who travel in one form or another. And everybody loves to talk about their travel experiences. Our annual dues are $15, and you may attend 1 or 2 meetings as a guest to try us out before you decide to join. If any of your district residents need to get more information from me, they can text or phone me, Corey Garner, at 714-287-8729, or they can email me at klmaverick, MAVERICK, 77@gmail.com. That's all I have to say. Are there any questions that I'd be happy to answer? Yes.
It's my understanding that is it my understanding, Ann Hofer, District 12, is it my understanding that you're not really going to promote special trips? Or this is just awareness? Is that the understanding?
There are very strict rules here in Sun Lakes. Evidently, I'm not able to form tours or organize tours for our residents. But what I'm doing is we have a wealth of tour operators and travel companies in this area. So I'm bringing in as guest speakers these people like Meridian Travel. We recently had a concierge travel agent who does customized tours for individuals and families. We've had Jerry from Silver Lining. We've had the Four Seasons Travel Group. I've got a Palm Springs-based travel company called ACT, which is very, very popular, gets huge recommendations from people. He's going to be talking this Saturday in a couple days for our July speaker. And he actually runs a huge travel club for the Coachella Valley that any of us are able to attend. It's for free. And so I'm trying to put travel opportunities that people may not know about in front of them, and then they would contact the tour operator to make their travel reservations. Any other questions?
Thank you,
Okay,
Corey.
Thank you.
And next, we have Mark Schleiden, who is the Director of Operations here at Sun Lakes. He does a fantastic job. Just took us on a tour of the expansion to the lounge. I think everybody was quite suitably impressed and looking forward to the successful completion of that job. Mark is here today. I asked him to come and speak about the normal fire abatement schedule that the association maintains. Fire abatement at this time of the year becomes a topic of concern, and I just want everyone to be assured in the community that Mark's on top of it.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for having me. First of all, as Cal stated, the weed abatement, I get calls throughout the summer months with questions regarding this matter. Weed abatement is done through artistic maintenance, your contractor for maintenance needs and upkeep. It is done basically on the slope behind Breckenridge. The abatement occurs 100 feet from the back of a fence, the back of the property. That's the back of the home where the slider is, or it's not from the backyard, it's not from the fence, it's not from the gate. It's 100 feet from the back of the house that has to be abated per county regulations. So people anticipate it to be a lot larger area. It also doesn't exist if there is, it only exists if there is no landscaping and no irrigation. So where there's irrigation and landscaping that's man-made or man-planted, abatement doesn't occur. Native plants and shrubs are thinned out at the sloped areas. Weed abatement is to be completed by May 31st of each year, so the abatement is complete as of this year. Also, I've reached out to the city fire captain. He actually works for CAL FIRE, but has an office at City Hall. There's been no reply. I'd like to have him speak as well, but once again, I encourage all residents. In the past, over the 14 years, I get calls consistently throughout the summer months about issues with plants and growth and overgrowth. If you as an individual or any homeowner or neighbor has concern, call code enforcement. Code enforcement will come out. They will contact me after the survey, and then we will make the corrections. But currently, we have had no complaints, no concerns, and the code enforcement has not contacted me regarding any issues with abatement. So that's what we got. Any questions? Any questions?
Mike?
Help.
Thank you. Just wanted to ask a question. If we could get a quick update on the South Clubhouse pool. I live across the street and I look at it all the time and it looks like it's coming along great. I don't know what our dates are or anything, and I'd kind of like to put something in our newsletter if you have that.
Okay. South Clubhouse currently today, they're starting the replaster. So you have brand new decking at this is the indoor pool at the South Clubhouse. You have new tile decking, which is non-abrasive, non-slip. The tile has been installed in the pool and jacuzzi. Currently, we're replastering. That process will complete probably Monday at the latest, but then we go into a curing period, which is about 3 weeks. Then we add water. Then we go into a treatment program that's about 3 weeks. So do the math on that. We're probably, I think Jason and I decided we're probably mid-August. So hopefully by the end of August we have it open. We still have to paint the interior, and that should be wrapped up.
So we're talking probably 1st of September?
That would be at the very latest, I would hope. Yeah, we're shooting for mid-August, so we'll see what happens. Yes, Ann?
Thank you.
Here we go. Is there any thing on schedule that will tell?
Everything's on schedule.
I understand that. On the schedule for future, there's a lot of grass growing from the asphalt to the edge of the concrete that goes to the driveway. A lot on, particularly my street. Is there anything that Artistic does or
Yes.
Sun Lakes does?
Yes.
And when can that be done, or when is it done?
It's done 3 times a year it's called curb crab. I will bring it to their attention, and I will ask for an additional spray at no cost.
I appreciate it.
So they'll bring a truck around, a guy's at the back of the truck with a spray gun, and he'll hit the 26 miles of roadway that has the weeds coming through.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
I can add, they just came by my place Monday, I believe it was. Or
Thank
last
you.
Friday, one or the other. So they're active, and they're doing the parking lots from what I could see.
Any other questions? Thanks. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is Tim Hanratty. I live in District 7. Last year in October, we had the streets repaved. They did not put the reflectors for the
Fire hydrants.
is that on the schedule to be done anytime soon?
I'll put it on the schedule now. Any other questions? Have a great day.
Thank you, Mark. And next, we have a Food and Beverage Department report from Eric Wenzel, and he's our new Food and Beverage Director.
See if I can get this right so everybody. I'm just getting entertained right now, so you guys just watch. There we go. Is that better? Sorry about that. Okay. Hi, I'm Eric Wenzel, the Food and Beverage Director. I'm here to report on the events that we have in July. So I understand a couple of you had asked that we get a little more in depth, and I'll be happy to as we move forward ultimately. However, I'm going to kind of keep it light for the time being and stay within a pretty minimal scope as things work behind the scenes overall, if that's okay. So with that, We are celebrating National Pina Colada Day on July 12th, tomorrow, excuse me, and also with National Pecan Pie Day tomorrow as well. On July 17th, we have National Hot Dog Day. July 25th, we have National Chili Dog Day. And July 31st, we have National Avocado Day also. As the big highlights that we have. But the big news is, I would say that I can talk about, is that we're developing a grab-and-go menu for the golfers primarily to be able to order food via a phone call at the turn, so they before the turn, be it on the front nine or the back nine, whatever they started, so they can order items from the kitchen and have them ready to go when they do pass by us. So we should hopefully have that up and running, I would say by August, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for sure. Just a simple menu, hot dogs, hamburgers, come in, fries, beer, something you can eat really fast on the turn and go from there. So that's it. Any questions? Good, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Item number 5 on the agenda is the Recreation Department report, and I believe Jason Ewalls will give that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, all right. Well, I hope everybody's awake. First, to start off, recreation, you guys, I would just like to thank all of you here, all of you at home watching. Thank you for another very successful 4th of July event. Even though we did have some hiccups with the internet, which we did get fixed, and it was a faulty modem that Spectrum got out here that day to fix and repair. So that was good after calling them 5 times. I have Linda here with me. She's learning to talk in front of you guys, so please don't scare her away. Again, it was a great event. I'd like to thank Linda, the monitors, staff, Recreation Committee, Food and Beverage, or the Food and Beverage Committee, or Restaurant Lounge Committee, however you want to say it. They all did a wonderful job, amazing. The input from the community, the fun that I see everybody having with their families. It's just, for me, at the 10 years I've been here, that is my favorite event. Everybody just has a great time, families, kids, everything. So thank you for that. Thank you for all the effort that the carts and the floats put in. Again, I think this is one of our largest ones. I believe we had about a little over 70 carts in there. That was great. Back in the day, we used to have 35, and that was like, yes! But to have double that was amazing. So the community participation, thank you very much. Moving forward, as we move on, this month we have our Music Under the Stars coming up July 27th. Showdown will be the band there. Again, with bands, if you see them and you want them here, please send them on. Please know, though, we have to book out pretty far in advance. The rest of this year is already booked out. So we're starting to book out 2025 now. So if you do see any bands, drop them off. We'll get in touch with them. Now, don't be mad if we don't have them. There's sometimes, you guys, we can't afford to get some of the bands in here. Some of them cost a lot. And I got to look at what we bring in from food and beverage on those nights. And, you know, if I'm paying a band $1,000, but I'm only bringing in $1,200 in revenue, it doesn't make sense because it doesn't pay for staff, it doesn't pay the food, it doesn't pay anything. So that's what we really got to look at. I know there's also some bands that some people like, and again, they may not bring in the revenue that we need to have them here. It's nothing against the bands, but nothing against the people that like the bands. It's just we have to look at what's best for the community as a whole. But then again, as I said, look for those evenings on the veranda and the Music's Under the Stars. We will, with the heat, we will be moving them inside here as much as we can when it's hot, okay? But keep in mind also, I can only do that when the ballroom's available. So Linda looks at it every week and works with Hernan, working on the temperature, saying, okay, is it gonna be hot enough? Do we move it inside? Do we have the room to move it inside? So you'll see tomorrow, we're gonna move the music in here because of the heat, but Saturday I cannot. I have a big event in here, so we have to keep it out on the veranda. So we will do what we can when we can to keep you guys all out of the heat and comfortable, but please understand we can't always make that accommodation. Coming up August 2nd, I know there was kind of confuted comedy night, Randy Riggles. For those of you that have been here quite some time, at least 7, 8 years, we had Randy Riggles here about that long ago. He does a stand-up show, so it's one and the same. The Randy Riggles Nostalgia Show is the comedy show. He goes on a pathway through the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and does some acts and some songs and some skits that'll relate to those different decades. It's a great show. Like I said, I still remember when he was here 7, 8 years ago. Put on a great show. I believe we had close to 500 at that time in this ballroom. But bringing them back, it should be a good show. So again, Comedy Night, Randy Riggles, right now for August 2nd, is one and the same. We will be having more comedy nights this year, so keep a lookout for those as well. Remember with that, you guys, with the bigger chairs, I want to restrict tables to 6. And the reason is, you guys, I understand that you want to have your, a group with you, but I hate for you to pay to come to a comedy show and have your back to the stage. So what I do is want 6 chairs, so it forms a U, so that all of you are looking at the stage, okay? So even though I have to reduce the number, I'd rather reduce the number and have you guys have a better experience, okay? It's not always about how many I can cram into the room. So that's coming up, so keep a lookout for that. Like I said, evening on the verandas, Renee Rochinaro will still be here, and she's gonna do it through September, October, as we see how the weather is. But she'll be out there the first Wednesday of the month from 5 p.m. Make sure you check that. First come, first serve. Again, weather permitting. If it's 107 degrees out, we will try to move it inside. Ice cream socials. Way to keep cool when it's 120 degrees out. Ice cream socials, while supplies last, you guys, 2 to 3 p.m., second Monday of the month. Still for 10 plus years now, $3 for your 3 scoops. So it's just like Costco's hot dogs. They have not changed since 1985. So we're not either at this point. Again, subject to change on the location. We would love to do them out on the veranda. That way, if there's any spills, it's easy to clean. And we can fit more people out there. But again, I'm not going to have you sitting out there with your ice cream melted before you have your first bite. So we will move it in where we can. Luckily, it's on a Monday. If we need to move it in the sandwich, we can do it there. If we can move it into the ballroom. But again, Linda's all over that, so she will make sure you guys are comfortable and enjoy it. Anything you'd like to add, Linda?
Good afternoon. In front of you is a list of the remainings of recreation events for the rest of the year. Shall anything changes, I will be sure or do my best to make sure you get an updated one each month.
Any
Questions?
Yes, ma'am.
I understand that for the comedy event or recreation events, we are allowed 4 tickets per household.
That's correct.
So me and my husband and I can only invite 1 more couple.
That is correct.
Is there any way, like we have a party of 6 that we hang with?
So here's what, and the reason why that came about, you guys, is back when I first started here, we would have a concert and we'd sell out with just a few people buying tickets. People would come in and buy 10 tickets. There's a rule that was put in place that created it to where every household was only allowed 4 tickets. At this point here, it was very enforceable, and I know everybody hates this, but prior to COVID, things have changed. I've seen it. Back then, I used to fill this ballroom with 500 plus people. Now it's tough to get 250 to 300 in here. But that's being said, back then is where I really needed to enforce it. Here now, at the beginning, I would like you to purchase 4, and then kind of come back and, okay, there's still tickets available, let me purchase some more. It's just, you guys, I like to try to keep it as fair as I can for everybody, but I would hate to go back to saying you can purchase as many tickets as you want and have it sell out before everybody gets a chance. So I would say if you wanted 6 tickets, you're not going to have a problem from what I have been seeing with the ticket sales for the events that we've had over the past few years. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. It's just that,
I know it's tough to plan,
yeah.
but if you're far enough out, then, and I'm not talking you have to wait till 2 days prior to the event. I'm talking, 3 weeks out.
Right,
I just don't want you, the day the tickets go on sale, to come in and say, I want to buy 10 tickets.
Okay.
That's the only concern I would have.
Okay. Well, it's just getting I say to my friends, do you want to do this with us?
Do they live here?
No, they don't live here. So there's like 3 couples and us.
Okay, now if you have another couple that wants to come that lives here, and maybe they could buy tickets for the 2 others.
I was told last event that wasn't acceptable.
Okay, I will tell you this, it may not be morally acceptable, I guess, in a sense, but it happens every single day.
I had to find somebody to write a check. They wouldn't take my check for the second set of 4,
Right.
so I had to
Right.
find somebody to write a check that I could
And
get
that
the cash
happens
to, and it was
all the time. Happens all the time.
convoluted. So
Yeah.
that's okay?
That's okay.
If I find
I have
somebody
no
else-
problem with that. Yes, that happens
Good.
all the time.
Okay, I'm on it.
Any other questions? Scalpers? Yeah, hey. I'm not Ticketmaster, I'm not gonna fine you for anything, so. All right, well, thank you very much, you guys. Again, as always, if you have any questions outside of today, please reach out to myself or Linda. We'd be more than happy to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason and Linda. And thank you for all you do for us. You work hard at it. Next, Candace Jenkins, please, from the executive team at EPAP.
Good afternoon to board members, or not board members, district delegates, FSR, residents. In the last board meeting, they approved our paying for a CERT class to be here on site at Sun Lakes. So for those of you that don't know what CERT is, it is a FEMA recommended program for volunteers in the community to go out and help their communities and their neighbors. And this is a program that teaches those volunteers what to do. So I'm gonna read a course overview and the objectives, and then if you have questions, I can answer those. The CERT basic training provides individuals who complete this course with the basic skills required to respond to community immediate needs in the aftermath of a disaster. When emergency services are not immediately available, by working together, CERT volunteers can help save lives and protect property using the basic techniques in this course. The target audience for this course is individuals who desire the skills and knowledge required to prepare for and respond to disasters. The objectives are take steps to prepare themselves, their families, and their communities for a disaster. Describe the function and organization of a CERT program and the role CERT serves in an immediate disaster response. Recognize life-threatening conditions and apply appropriate life-saving techniques. Conduct patient head-to-toe assessments, employ basic treatment for injuries, and understand disaster medical operations. Describe the post-disaster emotional environment and steps that volunteers can take to relieve their own stressors and those of disaster survivors. Identify and reduce potential fire hazards in their homes, workplaces, and neighborhoods, and perform basic fire suppression strategies, resources, and safety measurement. Describe the most common techniques associated with light search and rescue operations, including identifying, planning, and sizing up requirement, searching, and structured debris removal, survivor extraction, and rescuer safety, and explain current terrorism trends and measures CERT volunteers can take to increase preparedness before and safety during a terrorism incident. Do you have any questions? We will be having a class in November, and we will be inviting all of the coordinators, the MRTs, and district delegates to join us. July 22nd, we have the Riverside Healthcare System coming in to talk about emotional and psychological preparedness for disasters, what you can expect after, and what you should do, and when to know to ask for help. Then in August, we have the Simpler Life coming in, and they will talk to us about survival techniques and tools that can be purchased or can be used or can be found on the internet to put together a survival kit.
Time.
Thank you.
Okay, and next, we have some announcements from the Board of Directors.
Thank you. Recently, some new residents have not been following the rules at the main pool. After the pool monitors leave, they've been photographed drinking their own beers. This is a very serious rule violation that jeopardizes our liquor license. Additionally, babies are not allowed in the pool with diapers. We have changed the pool monitor for more strict enforcement, and violators will have their access restricted and fined. If you observe this type of behavior in our pool, please call Securitas, 951-845-2163. Notify them. You don't have to get in an argument. You don't have to enforce the rules. You can advise them if you like, but it's better to just call Securitas and let them do it. Pursuant to that, what we have done, we meaning the board, as of yesterday, we've expanded the hours. So the pool monitors are going to be effective this weekend from 11 to 5. We're also going to be hiring through First Service a monitor that we're going to assign to the pools. This will take a little bit of time to recruit and train. So in the meantime, we'll still be using Securitas, but ultimately it's going to be our employee and our monitor, and there'll be strict enforcement because we don't want to lose our liquor license. I mean, we're doing the lounge expansion, and we need that. Eric Wenzel, as you know, has been hired as our new food and beverage director here. The board is reviewing and updating the association's investment policy dated 4/17/14. It's 10 years old. The current rate of return of all of our investments is 4.5%. So we're doing very well. New cameras and fencing has been approved for the RV lot. Enhanced lighting and other security measures are also under consideration by the board. Once the cameras and fencing have been installed, we will then take the Securitas patrol who's out there every night still. We want to make sure that the RV lot is secure and our property is protected. The Safety Committee recommended and the board has approved having Securitas monitor and record stop sign violators. We will begin the rule change process to address this important issue. Violators will be fined in accordance with the existing fine schedule, $50 first violation, $100 for the second, and $300 for the third. Jess Ocampo and Sandra Gutnick have been appointed to the Financial Advisory Committee.
Okay, lounge expansion is going well, as you guys saw today. The actual date on the contract is that it will be done by October 11th. The contractor anticipates sooner. Don't hold me to it, but he anticipates sooner than that. The board is contacting committee chairs and asking them to submit, and I believe this has been done, any revenue generating and or cost cutting ideas to the board by July 31st. This will also be offered to the delegate assembly for your consideration, as Cal is aware of, I believe. And on that note, we had put a long list together of, we called it our think tank of possible revenue generation ideas. And so we're going through it again and going to start implementing some that we've done as a board. So try to see what we can do to make sure we stay flush and all the different things. The marketing committee had recommended 2 TVs for the monitor in here in this room. They'll be above the stairs there and there. This will prevent us from having to use the big screen monstrosity that we set up during the board meetings. And then also for other events, rather than having to use the screen in the very back of the stage, we'll have them on TV monitors that will, of course, be in sync with the other drop-down screens. Additionally, the Sandwich Bar and Grill sign has been approved and ordered and will be going in behind the bar along with some wall covering. And then also a speaker on the outside of the Sandwich, not a TV, but just a speaker that will either play music or if it happens to be a big sporting event, we can put that on there as well. But it will just be more for background than anything else. And now to take a page out of Michelle's book, Randy Robbins for the Past Action Group. So Tuesday night, the city council heard our case in a public hearing. Most of you probably know, or a lot of you probably already know, a public hearing, and at that hearing, what needed to be done based on the court order from March was to rescind the previous approval because the judge vacated that approval,
and then there was a resolution to reapprove it. There's a resolution to approve the project. That never got a motion to approve the project. After much discussion and motions and so forth, it was determined in working with the city attorney that they needed to create a resolution, which they will be bringing back. Their next scheduled meeting is August 27th. We anticipate that's when they will do it. We haven't heard that they will do a special meeting. Sorry, I got flies attacking me too, just like Michelle did. And so on August 27th, there will be a resolution to deny the project. And if that is denied, it's not going back to the Planning Commission. It is flat denied. If they wanted to resubmit a, yep. Yeah, it was a big deal. It was a big deal. If it is denied, it will be a done deal. If they want the next thing they want to do, even if it's a similar project, we'll have to go through the whole. They'll have to go through the whole process, including the environmental impact report again, and everything. So it's that was a big step. It's not done, but it's darn close. And yeah, we had a committee that worked on I gave our presentation, and our attorney spoke for five minutes as well. But we had a committee that worked on that presentation. I delivered it, but it wasn't all my words. It was everybody's. It was a group effort, and I just want to thank everybody, as always, the entire Pass Action Group board, the community, delegate assembly, the board for all the support that we've received, and I'm glad that we're able to move forward on it. Okay, that's it.
A couple questions.
Yeah, I would like to make an announcement before the questions are brought up. I would like to personally thank Randy Robbins for his leadership and Pass Action and all the people that donated and participated in this, because this was an awesome event. How many times have you seen the community win against a big developer? Very, very rarely, very rarely. And we were successful, 3-2. One of the city councilmen came to their sentence and went along with our point of view, and that's awesome. So we anticipate it'll also be 3-2 come the end of August. But I want to thank Randy and Pass Action Group for everything they did for our community.
Go ahead, Chris. You have a question?
Hey, Bob, this is for you. This is Chris Gonzalez, District 8. Hello? It's green now. Hello? Hello? Chris Gonzalez, District 8. Hey, Bob, a minute ago you said they were going to hire somebody for the pools. Now, you mentioned the word pools. Does the alcohol and everything, is that all the pools in Sun Lake, or just the main one?
No, the alcohol cannot be brought to the main pool.
Okay.
They can to the other pools as long as it's not in a glass container, but only in the main pool, because that's where our liquor license is covering and would be involved. So if you bring in outside liquor and drink it there, you could jeopardize, but it's only for the main pool.
Okay, so my second question to that is, maybe coming from the HOA board, maybe a flyer, is there a way we can send out to every household the rules, once again, of the pool here at the main clubhouse?
We could do that, but it's notified. I think the people are well aware of it, because they're waiting till the monitor leaves. So it's not like they don't know the rules. They're just sneakily trying to do it and get away with something and then jeopardize, our livelihood of our restaurant.
Talking to Mike, the head security guy, he said that the security that are coming to the pool, they're going to be wearing body cams for the people that are breaking the rules.
They always wear body cams.
Oh, there you go.
Right. But what we're doing is that we're hiring our own monitor. They're not be there yet, but we're going to go through that process so we can control it and we can have better enforcement, because we're really concerned about our liquor license.
Randy, can I ask you about a Pass Action issue? In watching the city council meeting, it became obvious that part of the issue here is that when the city council approved the Fifth Amendment to the master plan that actually changed the zoning requirements for that parcel to allow the industrial development of it, meaning it then allowed the warehouse project to go in. So isn't the really long-term win on this to get it rezoned?
Yes, in the end, that will be something that probably some of us as the group will look into, but also us as a community should definitely look into that and keep an eye on that, because that's, once it's done, because it makes no sense to make it full industrial there.
And is that something that Pass Action Group might continue?
We haven't really talked about it yet, but it's something that we would talk about it.
You have done such a great job to this point in time. I mean, and good work just gets more
I'm
good
tired.
work.
I was out till midnight almost the other night. Kate, did you have a question still?
I just had a question, Kate Reed, District 20, about I know that events in the multipurpose room people cannot bring alcohol. And they had karaoke in there because South Clubhouse was being used. So I made it really clear to everybody, if you've got alcohol, you need to leave. I'm not very popular today. But they also are used to bringing food, sandwiches from outside, that sort of thing. I didn't know if food is also, that we would have to buy food from the restaurant, or can they do that?
You would have to buy the food. Anything within the footprint of the of the main clubhouse has to go through the food and beverage department.
Okay, can you have M&Ms and peanuts or chips?
Yeah, what was it Jason said earlier? Things happen.
Yeah, I just want to be very clear with these people, because
So you guys, the rule here with food in the main clubhouse, if it can be provided by the restaurant, you have to go through the restaurant.
Okay.
If it cannot, we have certain clubs here. I don't have a rabbi in the back there to bless some I kid you not, you guys know, like the Yiddish club. They are able to bring in some foods because we do not have an ability to bless the food for them to keep it kosher. There are certain things, M&Ms, things like, we don't supply that in the restaurant. If you're bringing it in individual reason, like, one person bringing a bag in, no problem there. If you as a club are going to be bringing in food, you're going to want to run that through the recreation department first to make sure that we can't provide that for you, and to make sure that we are aware, and that way when we do get the complaints, because we will, this group, I walk by the multipurpose room, they have food and everything else, why do they get to bring it in and I can't? Then I have a leg to stand on and say, well, because of this, or this is the reason why. That's kind of the rule that has always been here at the main clubhouse. Any questions on that? Yeah. As of right now, yes. And that goes back to a rule that the board, many of boards ago, have created for bingo. Now, that is a rule that is always up to be re-looked at because of the situation with now, at that point in time, the restaurant was unable to provide food to non-residents. Since your ID cards, that has changed. It allows us to do a resident and then a non-resident. That's why with bingo, we have the card. It's just, if you're non-resident, we run the bingo card. That way we can keep track of the sales from non-resident bingo players. Now that we have that, it's a little different, but it will take a board resolution to stop that from happening.
okay, so if it's not a club or organization that's bringing in the food, but, Mary Smith comes in with her Subway sandwich, that's not acceptable?
Again, not acceptable. Bingo is the one exception right now, but like I said, I'm not. If you're sitting in the arts and crafts room by yourself, you're reading a book or doing something in there, and you have a sandwich, 9 out of 10 times, I'm not going to say, "Hey, get out of here with that sandwich." Just you got to think about it. Use your head. Be cautious, but note that if you as a club want to bring anything in here, you must run through the recreation department first. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a question for
Yeah.
Randy.
Oh.
Fire away.
Well, since we have made a great successful step in past action, does this mean that we're putting Dory Gretzky out of commission for recycling?
I haven't talked to her yet, but I know she's tired too. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay, so we would need an update as to whether or not she's going to
I will get an update, yeah.
Thank you.
I just wrote the August article for lifestyles. I did not address it in that, but I will have, something will be in the September lifestyles.
Wonderful.
September lifestyles.
Thank you very much.
Okay, if there's no more, we'll move on to the announcements from district delegates, and we'll begin with, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Chris. We now have announcements from the administration.
Yes, I'm still here. Thank you. Just one thing also is I know the discussion about alcohol, and Jason was here on July 4th, and members were coming up with their bottles, and staff was telling the members no alcohol in this area. And again, the members, oh well. And so I know the board, we've talked about it, and we'll be bringing it back at the next executive, that we will be beginning the citation process, which can lead to a fine and up to suspension of privileges. That's how serious alcohol at the pool, alcohol in the restaurant that's not purchased from here, alcohol at the veranda, that's all within the footprint, and we are required, you're not allowed to, we're required to enforce rules. You're not allowed to bring outside alcohol in this footprint area. So just if you can let your districts know about that. Also, did everyone sign in? I'm hoping the delegates, there's a sign-in sheet. Please remember, if you haven't, go sign in before you leave. Next, I have some sad news to report. Brian Garlington will be leaving us. He has another position that was offered to him, and he will be leaving. His last day will be August 2nd. It's sad news. Brian's done such a great job working with the members, working the products out of the Pro Shop, that he's been able to expand different items there. You could always go into the Pro Shop, and you would have to make sure you leave your wallet in the car, because he has a silver tongue, and he would be able to sell things to you, and actually he'd probably go out to the car with you to retrieve your wallet. But he was a great salesman, and so this is unfortunate news. But on the other side, the flip of the coin, it's good for Brian, and so we wish him the best of luck. Stop by the Pro Shop, say hi to him. But August 2nd will be his last day, and we will be recruiting for a replacement for Brian. We've talked about the main pool issues, Bob has, so we will move on to age verification is proceeding. As of last week, we're roughly about 70% completed. This is ahead of where we were 2 years ago. Now, staff is reaching out to members that have, we have a list that we've been following up and making phone calls. I will provide an update at the August delegate meeting to let you know where we are at and if we're going to need the delegates. In the past, we've been in the 40s, 50s, and have had to activate the delegates to pound on doors, chase people down, hire bounty hunters, whatever needed to get these, our percentage. But again, at roughly 70% right now, first week of July, that's pretty good. We did, as I think was mentioned earlier, perhaps actually it was during Michelle's report, the CCNR Amendment 8 was finalized on the 17th of June. Escrow instructions have been updated on the 21st of June, so at that point, after the 21st, houses that were closing were then required to pay, well, they either had, for the repair and replacement replenishment fund, they had to pay at that point at the closing of escrow, or the new homeowners had 9 months to pay that back to the association. So that is in effect. We will be on the financials recording that separately so you can keep track of those funds. I know the board is anxious to get updates on that as well. Beginning July 1st, we began the Saturday and Sunday. The Sandwich was opening at 9 a.m. rather than 7. I did receive a couple of message to management. I thank those members for submitting it, saying, why did you close? But again, I can't, just 2 members supporting that endeavor, I can't, it really doesn't, the numbers don't work out with 2 members showing up and the amount of cost. So that, again, will be, is in effect Saturday and Sunday. The Sandwich Bar and Grill will open at 9 a.m. Service charge will be returning August 1st. Now, SB 1524 was signed in by the governor June 30th, and what it did is it exempted restaurants from the junk fee bill. So that board did approve that returning. That will be returning August 1st. We'll make an e-blast. We'll be putting tabletop announcements, letting the staff know, and we'll announce at the open session as well. So to look forward to that. And just quickly, one of the key things you can even go on to the website, the SB 1524, Consumers Legal Remedies Act, advertisements, restaurant, bar, and other food services, was approved and signed again by the governor June 30th. That amended SB 478 junk fees, exempts restaurants and bars from service charge. The bills specifically in that text, and you can go online and read this, but it specifically doesn't, the bill would specifically provide a provision that does not apply to a mandatory fee or charge for individual food or beverage items sold directly to a consumer by a restaurant, bar, food concession, grocery store, or grocery delivery service, or by means of a menu or contract for banquet or catering services that fully discloses the terms of service, subject to certain exclusions and conditions. These conditions would include that a mandatory fee or charge be clearly and conspicuously displayed with an explanation of its purpose on advertisements, menus, or other displays. So, to legally meet this, we will be, you'll see on the menu, you'll see on the little tabletop, there'll be signs around the restaurant that the service charge is back and the purpose of it, which is a mandatory gratuity that goes to the employees. So with that, that is good news for the employees, good news, I believe, for the members as a whole, because there have been issues, and I know several of the delegates talked to their favorite server or bartender and have been getting updates. I've been getting nice texts where it was a great $25 bill and only 25 cents was left. That did work back in the 1950s, maybe 40s, not today. So I am glad that the legislature and the governor did do something right to amend that, because as we were not, bless you, we're not the only institution, restaurant that was facing these issues. And so with that, that completes my report.
Thank you, Chris. Questions? Greg.
Greg Voitko, District 16. What is the number of the amendment to 478?
SB 1524.
24?
Yes.
Thank you.
Carly?
Do you know what the percentage would be added to the service charge?
It would be going to 18%. 18%. And I believe I have an update from Jason, possibly.
You guys, I just wanted to revert back to what Chris was talking about, the alcohol. With us being out on the veranda more this summer, coming into the fall, what I want to keep you aware of as well, what I had seen, especially Music Under the Star Nights, is the 2 grassy knolls that are right outside the veranda. I've seen golf carts pull up on there. Please try to keep the golf carts off the grass. After that weekend, we had 2 sprinkler heads that were broken and had to be repaired on the grass. You're more than welcome to park right on the cart path there and bring your chair up and sit on the grass area. And that grass area, you can bring your alcohol right there. That was cut out of the footprint. But keep in mind, the second your friend is right there on the veranda and you're on the grass with your beer or wine, bring your friend to you, not you going to your friend, okay? Because as soon as you cross that grass onto the cart path or the sidewalk up to the veranda, you are now in the footprint of the ABC license. So keep in mind, if you want to bring your alcohol, keep off the veranda, stay on the grass areas, but don't pull your cart up on the grass area. Bring your chair up there and walk up there. That's it.
I have Kate Reed, District 20. I have a question about the gratuity. Is it you know, I've got Mary, who's my waitress. Does she get that 18% from my check, or is it all pooled together and then everybody gets a portion?
No, she would get, if Mary or Gina, let's say Gina, because she would get the 18%, and then she could, if she had a busser helping her or a bartender that was helping her, then she would allocate some of her tip to those people, but it goes directly to her. All 18%, yes. Nothing is kept by the association. That's a great question because other places do things differently. This goes directly to your server.
And there's nothing that prevents anyone from including an additional
Nope,
gratuity
that
if
will-
they choose. What about a cash gratuity?
You can give an additional cash gratuity if you want, and you can give that directly to your server, but that 18% will be on your bill that you have to pay with either a house account or credit card.
Okay, no more questions, and we will move to announcements from the delegates, and we'll start with Barbara.
Barbara Ellis, District 1. My only comment is, can somebody get us some fly swatters?
Loretta Kuzar, District 2, and I don't have anything.
Good afternoon, everyone. Jim Nickel, District 3. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to summer. I have a question, please, for Bob. Since we have this extra security person, this has always been an issue. My district is by the gate. We have a lower wall. In fact, I had an incursion on 624 where an individual came over the wall. 3 police cars pursued him and a helicopter. He was arrested. But it's been ongoing for the last 2 years with that wall, with people intruding, actually, in some of my neighbors as well, just this last week. So the thought was, if we could have that second individual, or they're doing the RV lot, could they not be extended for the rest of the community? And I'd mentioned once before that nighttime person relieves gate 1, gate 3, gate 5, and then they take their half-an-hour lunch. So during the wee hours of the morning, we have 2 hours where there's no patrolling. And just a request that perhaps that could be extended to fill in a gap there. Thank you.
Yeah, we can look into that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Dolores Doherty, District 4. I'm going to piggyback on what Jim was talking about, the nighttime security. I have a lot of, and I'm sure everybody else does, a lot of women that live alone. And a couple years ago, that second security person was cut out. And I had a resident call me last week about her garage door being open. She checks it every night, but this particular morning she woke up and it was open, and she could tell somebody had been rummaging through boxes that she had in there. So we really need to work on getting a second nighttime security person to man this entire community.
Hi, Mary Miller, District 5. Dave is in Florida. I wanted to thank Dory for all her help. I don't know if anybody else had gone over there, but her house was just, I mean, she really had a lot of bottles and cans over there. She did collect a lot of money for the Pass Action Group, and that is amazing. Also, I'd like to let everybody know with District 2, our sister district, we are having a bingo party next month. If you'd like more details, go ahead and contact me or Dave. And also, I'd like to say I'm really sad that Brian's leaving. He's been great over there at the golf shop, so you guys should just offer him some more money. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, gift card. No? Okay.
You know, 50/50s and raffle stuff is all okay. Bingo is still not okay. Bingo is a licensed gaming game. Like, you have to have a license to do bingo and give money out. Okay, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, we don't give money.
Okay, that's all that.
Thank you for letting us. I appreciate it.
Jess Ocampo, District 6, no comment.
Gail Billig, District 7. Fran is still doing her lunch for us on the third Thursday of the month, and I know we had 2 tables of people last time we had it, and Don Day came and spoke, and this time Eric will be there to speak. And on July 21st at the North Clubhouse, we'll be having a festive meet and greet within the district.
Chris Gonzalez, District 8, no comment.
Linda Vieira, District 9. I would really like to say that I appreciate getting emails from other districts about parties and events that they're having. So thank you very much for doing that.
Good afternoon, Jean Dobson, District 10. We just completed Fill the Cupboard for our district. I was really proud of everyone in our district with the food, the clothes, the household items that filled up my garage. The information that I had in the handbook that was passed down to me was not correct, and I just want to pass on to you. I think my colleague here, District 3, you had mentioned at some time that the senior center is really appreciative of clothing, and our district gave a lot of clothing. And they will come and pick up. You do not have to take it to them, but you must call for an appointment. I think at one time it was the second or third Thursday was on a schedule, but when you're ready, you think you've sort of depleted what your district might have, call them. And I will give out the phone number. It's 951-922-3250. Anna Sandoval is the manager for the senior center. She was so appreciative of what we gave. Question about, at some point there was discussion about creating room reservation fee schedule. I'm wondering if that has been done, and if so, was it published and I missed it, or what is, could you give me an update on that?
Item still in development. Still in development.
Do you have any idea?
I don't have an ETA yet.
All right, thank you.
Patty?
Patty Lopez, District 11, no comment.
Ann Hofer, District 12. Last week we held our spaghetti dinner in conjunction with District 18 and 8, and I think it was an awesome success. We had a lot of fun. There were a lot of mingling, and you know, this is what we need. We need our people to come out and have a good time. We were in the North Clubhouse this last week, and a little tight, but you know, it was nice, and I'm just so happy. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate it.
Jeannie Vaughn, District 13. I don't know if this is working. It's on. About the pool rules, I'm really happy that you clarified that information. Would it be possible to put that in the next lifestyles after the one you just wrote your article for? Because if it's in there, I know it's somewhere, but if it's in the lifestyles, then we have something we can tell our people, well, it's in here, read it, and then we don't have to duplicate it in our newsletters. We can just say, at the meeting, they clarified rules for alcohol and food at the clubhouses. Please refer to page 42 or whatever.
Yeah,
And
it'll be in the lifestyles as well as the message from the master board, which goes out with each newsletter.
I think it's good. Thank you for clarifying that about the liquor license, because I don't think most people would know that. Thank you.
Hello, Carly Beeks, District 14. And I had my first district meeting, and we had approximately 25 residents, which was really good. And after we did our business, I opened the floor to the residents, and they came up with a lot of great ideas, and we're going to implement them and have in our social committees. So I was very happy and pleased with District 14. Thank you.
District 15, B. Mercado. I have no information at this time.
Hi, Greg Voitko, District 16. I continue to strive to fill my MRT roles for EPAP. Planning continues for our July 28th silly Summer Olympics game party at the North Clubhouse. Thank you, Anne. It's a pretty safe bet that, you know, District 16, District 17, we're going to meet at the North Clubhouse. Pretty much a done deal. I did feel one concern about something reported in probably not the last message from the master board, but the previous one that Gene Dobson referenced about the fee schedule for renting clubhouses. And the concern was that if we're going to rent the clubhouses, what's next? Are we going to rent the golf course? And how do you respond to that?
Every community rents out their ballroom, their areas, and we're the only one that does not. And so we're going to begin doing that to increase some revenue. We estimated we probably lost out on about $20,000 by not doing so. So it has nothing to do with the golf course. It has to do with the empty space in the rooms and primarily the ballroom.
Okay, thanks. And reference revenue generating, renting out the golf course. I looked at Riverside County Film Commission's website today, and they only have one golf course listed in Palm Desert. Renting the golf course for commercial filming use would allow you to insist on providing catering. Renting it out on a commercial basis would be far more lucrative than renting it out retail.
Yeah, we're not renting out the golf course.
Anita Lawrence, District 18. Yesterday, I, along with my alternate delegate, we held a meeting with all of the zone captains in District 18, as well as the EPAP coordinator, and it was a very productive meeting. We do have an EPAP coordinator. He has been doing the job for many, many years and would like to step down. So if there's anyone in District 18 that would like to assume his responsibilities, please give me a call. So in addition to EPAP coordinator, we're also looking for an alternate, and I have 2 zones that do not have alternates. So I think I put it in the newsletter. Please reach out to me, and we'll talk about you coming on board. Thank you.
Marcia Midget, District 19. I just want to piggyback a little bit on, I'm not sure who said something about Dory and her tremendous effort and time. I had a conversation with her, and I think she has raised over $20,000 from just bottles and cans and everything else. And I know she's getting tired, and I think she's going to step down in September. So kudos to her. I think she's helped with a lot of the little things that just by, you know, doing what she does, and thanks to everybody that has contributed to the cause by taking your bottles and cans to her. So thank you again.
Kate Reed, District 20. District 20 is coming into the 21st century. We have established a Facebook page. Lee Stone, who's in our district, has volunteered to take that on. And Greg, getting your flyer in the email was great because she could go ahead and put it on our District 20 website. So thank you for that. And if you have flyers or want information, we will be happy to post it on our District 20 Facebook page. Did I say that? Facebook page, not website. Facebook page. There you go. Sorry. Thank you.
Mike Bowles, District 22. I have no further comment.
Charlie London, District 23. I don't know why my social committee decided to have a barbecue on July the 4th. It was one of the hottest days, but we survived. I had 157 people show up, and I think we did over 100 hot dogs, and we played some games despite the heat and everything. I slept for 2 days afterwards, but the highlight of that whole event was the water balloon toss. It turned into be the coolest water fight you've probably ever seen. It was a lot of fun. And I really respect the people for coming out in that heat to have a good time at our 4th of July party. Thank you.
Can I give this report now, or you want to wait? Linda Spalding, District 17. I have no comment.
And Cal Martin, District 21, got another cornhole tournament coming up for the main clubhouse. That will be on August 10th, and I'll send out some information on that shortly to everyone. And that's it for the announcements from the district delegates. Is there anyone who, for item 10, is there anyone who has an item for old business? If there are no comments for old business, we'll move to number 11, which is new business, and I believe we have a couple of items in new business. Is there anyone who has new business they'd like to bring forward? Gail?
Since I'm going to be taking over the Rules Committee, what I wanted to take a minute to do was to read what's in the bylaws for us that we need to do. And that is, it says in the bylaws, adopt rules for internal conduct of meetings of the Delegate Assembly by an affirmative vote of the delegates representing not less than a majority of all delegate districts in the association on the basis of one vote per delegate. Such internal rules shall in no way affect, modify, expand, or alter the role or function of delegates as prescribed in these bylaws or the Master Declaration. Such internal rules shall not apply to any area of the association governance or association operations except the internal conduct of the Delegate Assembly. So my group will be working just on our standing rules for this committee before moving into updating the handbook. So if you have suggestions or comments or something you want us to see if it fits in there, please let me know after the meeting or through my email. Thank you.
Any comments? And I believe Linda has something for new business as well.
Okay, we'll move from there. I just wanted to make a comment. Cal has put me in charge of the Ethics Committee and 6 other things you did that I have to do. But my first task was to get to know the delegates. And I reached out to everyone. I have sat down and spoke to 17 delegates, and I was really amazed at how graceful and kind you all are. I also sent out 4 emails and get the same response. So I feel so great about this delegate assembly and the direction that we are going. I asked 3 questions. It's been brought up that you all would like to move the delegate assembly to the day after the master board meeting. Talked to Linda Vane, and we cannot do that at this time because of the fashion show, community awareness, welcome home. There's a whole list of reasons why we can't come in here the Thursday after the master board meeting. 2025 is the same schedule. So Linda said maybe look at 2026. Then it comes back to, do you want to go back to the South Clubhouse? And most of you said no. So we're going to leave that up to discussion. We'll talk more about that in the future because I think we need to discuss that further. I then asked if you would like to have a mixer so we could get to know each other one-on-one, and that was an overwhelming yes. And I wrote a letter to the master board, sent that in. They reviewed it at executive session yesterday, and it's now been kicked to open session. So hopefully we can get approval to have the mixer in open session and look sometime in August. Thank
I
you.
do anticipate approval of that request.
Say what?
I do anticipate approval of that request.
We'll document that, Bob. That's all.
Okay, and that concludes the new business that is before us, unless somebody else has new business they'd like to bring forward. And if not, we'll move to number 12 on the agenda, which would be the member comments. Please note that member comments are limited to 3 minutes. You will be timed, and you must keep your topic and your discussion or questions to the topics that are relevant to the delegate assembly. Thank you very much, and does anyone have comments from the membership?
Steve Neese, Sunrise Drive. 3 quick comments on the pool discussion. It's mentioned little kids with diapers are not allowed in the pool. That's obvious, but that's not the rule. The rule states children over 3 years old have to be over 3 years old to be in the pool. That's the key. That's what the monitors are not enforcing. The second thing I wanted to mention, we've been here almost 22 years. We're at the pool a lot during the summer. We've seen some crazy things going on. But I was going to ask, is there any possibility we can get back to what they used to do? Every week, they'd wash off the deck. They no longer do that. Sometimes you leave the spa, you walk back to your chair, your feet are black. So is there any possibility once a week they can go back, the monitors, cleaning off the deck? Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. I knew you could get it done. And the third thing is, there's a very easy way to get rid of the alcohol in the glass at the pool. I cannot tell you how many times we've been there and watched people bring in glass, bring in alcohol. We saw one person bring in one of those iced tea glass containers, this big with a spout on it, leaned it on the edge of the table. I just knew it was going to break, and nobody did anything about it. We called security, okay. But there is a solution, and it's a very good solution. Jason, Jean Dobson, you remember Sheila? That's the solution. Sheila was the monitor with Securitas. She ran that place like a concentration camp. It was like her own backyard. Nobody entered that pool area, nobody, until she inspected their coolers. Now, I know some of you say that's a liability, we can't do that, we'll be sued. That's BS, that's absolutely BS. We're a private community, we have every right in the world to inspect every container coming in that pool. When Sheila was there and a person walked through that gate with a cooler, she stopped them, had them open up the cooler. If there was glass, she had them take it out. If there was alcohol, she had them take it out. That was the rule with Sheila. Unfortunately, Sheila got promoted and she's no longer here. But if we could get a monitor to do that, don't say like the sign says, we have the right to do that. We will do that. And that's how you get rid of the problem. Very simple. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sue Savage. It's always interesting coming here. You always learn a lot, okay? And it's the same thing with city council meeting the other night when we went to talk about the group across the street, the warehouse. First thing I learned was underneath Sun Lakes is a aquifer that's got the purest water that there possibly is, and it is so pure that when the city is going to begin to extract that water, they're going to pollute it with others, and it will still meet drinking standards. So we can be pretty honored that we have got water that will last forever underneath us. The second thing I thought was interesting when listening to you guys is I was at that city council meeting from 5 until 11:30, which is a long time, and maybe my memory is not as so good as yours. But what I think I heard at that meeting was the proposal for the group across the street was 2 parts. One part was for the parcels and how they were going to be designated, and that part passed as promoted in full. The other part was the use of those parcels of land. Can it be used for a warehouse? And I believe I heard Sherry Flynn work at least a half an hour with the city attorney to come up with the correct words to send back to the staff that we are not going to allow a warehouse on the parcels across the street. So I didn't quite understand. I will tell you, without the people who showed up at that meeting to show that their support is not for a warehouse, I don't believe we would have had success. But the idea that Sherry Flynn was the one working with the city attorney to get the words, to get no stamped on that document going back to the staff is crucial. So I don't understand why she isn't here today. Thank you.
David Keeley, Chair of the Sun Lakes Country Club Charitable Trust, and many of you and many of the residents are asking, how did we do? How's charity? So I have some good news and I have some better news. The better news I'll start with, I signed the check for over $22,000 to the HOA for golf and for food and beverage. So when we put on events and raise money, it really can benefit you and each of you, because I looked at this for the first time when we were giving away $100,000, $105,000 pre-COVID, and it was $135,000 revenue, so it cost something. So I've started to pay more attention to that, and so I was happy to sign that check. We have another 2 events in September, so the other good news is that we will again give money away to a couple of dozen charities in the greater San Gorgonio Pass. So I'm not going to tell you how much money we have now, because we wait for the grant requests, and we also have 2 more events, and one of them is huge in September. So we'll keep you posted. Thank you all very much, and thank you for what you do. And for all the people who aren't in the room, I'm going to say something again to you who are watching on Channel 97. Many of you maybe are the people who tell me, I didn't know that. Well, you need to come to places like this, because then you will know.
Thank you, Mr. Keeley, and thank you from all of us for all the work you do for Sun Lakes and for the broader community. It is often unsung, but necessary and appreciated. Thank you very much. And if there are no more member comments, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. It is moved. Do we have a second? And all in favor? Let's go home.